I think our industry and our profession is fun because we have impact. We can make impact on the lives of people working and living.
Welcome to Connected FM, a podcast connecting you to the latest insights, tools, and resources to help you succeed in facility management. This podcast is brought to you by IFMA, the leading professional association for facility managers. If you are ready to grow your network and advance in your career, go to ifma.org to get started. Today, we're celebrating World FM Day with three special guests: Lara Paemen, Managing Director for IFMA EMEA, Rebeca Arguedas, Chair of IFMA Global Latam, and Ted Ritter, Head of IFMA's Global Information Technology Community. Together, they discuss how facility managers can get engaged on a global, local, and industry level, what themes are currently influencing facility management in their respective regions, and so much more. Now, let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on this podcast for World FM Day. I'm Lara Paemen, Managing Director for IFMA EMEA, so for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I'm joined today by Rebeca and Ted, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Rebeca.
Hi, thank you, Lara. I am Rebeca Arguedas. I'm from Costa Rica, Latin America, and I am leading the Latin FM for IFMA, the community.
Well, my name is Ted Ritter, based in Phoenix, Arizona, and I head up the global information technology community for IFMA.
Now, the overall theme for this year's World FM Day is making a real difference. And I think that's what FMs do. We try to make that difference. Maybe start the conversation here with how facility managers can get engaged on a global level, on a regional level, because we each work in our own regions and also on a local level. Let's have a conversation about that.
Sure. Well, I'm going to start saying that for Latin Americans, having now a community since after COVID has been a blessing and a really place to find connections and interactions with really professionals that in daily basis make the difference, but we didn't have a place to gather ourselves and have these conversations. So we have been in this path of making FM a really value profession in our region and definitely making a difference. And it's been supported by having all this community around us, and not just in Latin America, but globally, to feedback any ideas and practices. And for us, making a difference is also having this place to be around.
Right.
I think looking at, my evolution of time with IFMA, starting out at the chapter level here in Phoenix, Arizona, and then discovering councils and communities and getting involved nationally and globally, it's really been refreshing to just have a continual evolution of connectivities with people around the world. I've been very fortunate to be able to present at conferences, I think, on almost every continent, which has been, we have a lot of differences, but we also have a lot in common, from a professional perspective. But in terms of what we focus on from technology, there's a common thread. It doesn't really matter if you're in Rotterdam or Phoenix or San Francisco or Hong Kong, you're focused on the same challenges and benefits of applying technology.
I agree. I think there's definitely like a common ground here. What I do like about IFMA as well is that with our local chapters, we can add that local sauce on top of everything, and we can organize activities in local language as well. We can, go into detail on more specific local cases that happen. And then next to that, we have these regional connections and these global connections where we can learn from each other, even if you're in one person managing buildings in a very cold country or a person managing buildings or sites in the desert or areas. It doesn't matter. There are certain things that are common. IFMA offers that opportunity to learn from each other across the globe. And I think that's great.
I think that is like a huge bridge of trust, because you can trust professionals from other regions that have the same passion and interest. I mean, it is a place to ground like our purpose, even though it is more challenging in some areas with less resources, or not all the material in all the idioms we wish we have. I mean, we are translating a lot of the facility development professional programs in Spanish right now to have our operations teams trained with IFMA experience, and that is fascinating for them too. I mean, yeah, having all that global support to have better opportunities for education for minorities make this like a bridge to be in, because IFMA has like more than 10 countries on the association, 100 countries in the association, and maybe just 21 that speak Spanish. But now we are trying to make them feel included on that profession, not just like in the operation level that we have been in so many countries, because we have a lot of Latin Americans working in Europe, Middle East, a lot of Latin American Middle East, and not just in North America. But now we have a lot of global companies operating in our countries too. We have a lot of companies in South America. We have a lot of companies here in Costa Rica that need a really high level of professional making the difference. So IFMA has all the opportunities we can leverage for them and make them feel that we're going to help.
I think, one of the things that, has kept me involved with it for over 20 years is how genuine everyone is about sharing and helping, sharing knowledge, best practices, and also sharing, what didn't work. I mean, I think we can all learn just as much approaches that were, to be avoided. I think that's a common thread, no matter what country you happen to be in. And I think to what you were just saying, Rebecca, about developing professional development content in multiple languages and knowing what's in queue that's coming, it's impressive. I think it was investing a tremendous amount into expanding the knowledge base. The relaunch of the knowledge library is very good. And some of the preview I've seen of what's going to get added over the next 12 months is truly impressive.
Absolutely. I like what you said as well, Rebecca, about the trust part. It's finding that trust in the IFMA family as well across the globe, and that truly is a family. You can just ask any questions related to work, to the issues that you might encounter, but also to solutions that you have found, and there will be a response from anywhere. So I really like that. What I see here in Europe, for example, and specifically in Europe, is that everything with regards to sustainability is such a big topic. It's obviously led and driven by the European Commission, who has very specific targets for Europe. And Europe is very much advancing, and I like the impact. Going back to the theme of World FM Day on making a real difference, I like the impact that our industry has or can have on these topics like sustainability, like creating more greener environments, healthier environments for people to work and live. What are the themes in your region?
Yeah, before the pandemic, we were a really green country. Costa Rican branding is supported on a green lead, and everything went to that. So we have been having a lot of sustainability practices, but maybe not the resources to measure, to
I
really know what's impact we are doing. It was more like all the intention and the practices, like wondering how to reduce the waste and our footprint and everything, but not having the resources for measuring. Now that you guys in Europe and all the world are more focusing on that, you're given us these tools to now say, okay, we have been green, but this is the way we can tell the world with these indicators what we are doing. After COVID, now we are a lot into wellness. We are a lot of focus on wellness and all the certifications, feed well, and all these practices because LATAM labor needs to be supported a lot on these issues because our population, our way of living, is not that sustainability is not important anymore, but we need to care more of our people now. That's a good thing.
It's right. I think facility management is really about people.
And now we are trying to give them the space we deserve.
Exactly. Yeah. What about you, Ted?
So, thinking back with the pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, the technology community, we had something interesting happen. Our membership group, where most of the components of it dropped, most associations dropped. It was not just that we, increased our membership a little bit, it's the geographic reach that extended was truly remarkable. The 3-year period, we went from having members in 16 countries to 32, which is that's a big growth. And why? We talked about sharing knowledge, and I think the pandemic brought to focus how important it was to provide solutions for wayfinding and how to deal with partial occupancy in the buildings, which ties to wellness. And it's like, okay, we're going to start to be more engaged. Are we operating efficiently? Is it sustainable? Where can we, take advantage of some of the technologies, especially IoT has gotten so affordable compared to what it was 5 years ago. At Facility Fusion, we were talking about, a sensor that was, the size of almost the size of an iPhone, 5, 6 years ago. It's now the size of a thumbnail and costs a tenth of what it used to and does twice as much. That gives us the ability to monitor indoor air quality. That gives us the ability to monitor all aspects of facilities that we just didn't have a while ago. So I think how can we leverage this, rapid advance of more affordable technologies to support sustainability, support work-life wellness, support reduction of energy consumption? Yep. I think that's probably the thing. It's
Absolutely.
universal.
Oh, it did. What I'm always fascinated by or interested is how can we get knowledge also to lesser mature facility management markets? How can we make sure that the technology and the knowledge that is developed in other parts of the world or other countries, how can we get that there? How can we make sure that we continue to educate people on what's going on in other parts of the world? And I think it's something definitely with our professional development programs, we do a lot to train people, but also just different scenarios, different building business cases, also cases that went wrong, as you mentioned, Ted, successes and failures. How can we share that even more across the globes in from markets that are mature to lesser mature markets?
I will say including more cultural behaviors and cultural adoptions. Because you said it before, this is about people. I mean, technology is going to improve. It's going to give us every day new ways to do and easier and cheapest. Thank God for us. But if we don't get the people to trust, not in the technology, but in the process, to believe in the results they are going to have in the way they need or they think they need, that won't work. I mean, like that 85% of technology implementations fail because of the people. So I think that we need to include more culture, like culture beats a strategy, right? So I think that we cannot forget about that. We have seen a lot of implementations, bringing a lot of teams from all over the world with this expertise that you're like fascinated and you can say, I want to do that. But you need to make how we said it in Spanish, we have to tropicalizarlo. We have to make it tropical, for us, because we move different. We are in Latin America. We are passion. We need urgency. We need change. We don't want everything standard. We don't want to feel the same to the others. We don't have to be in a frame. I mean, it is a lot in our culture that definitely define the motivation and the results of any implementation and processes.
Any thoughts on that, Ted?
I think there's an element of fun that comes into it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we really need to address. So, thinking back to a large technology implementation that was affect 7 different countries and 4 languages, I came up with a common thread, and I was doing initial visits, and this is a while ago. But we described things in terms of the Simpson family, the cartoon series, The Simpsons, and these are the players that we're dealing with inside the facility. Do you agree or disagree? We had this whole conversation. Cartoon characters.
Who are you? I'm interested in that. Which character were you?
What? That's not. Well, of course. But anyway, I think, looking at what can you do to make the communication fun and put someone just at ease, especially for sharing new concepts. I think that, along with everything you just said, Rebecca, is kind of, I think what I would add.
Yeah. I think our industry and our profession is fun because we have impact. We can make impact on the lives of people working and living. And I think we should see it as that as well. I think the cultural aspects are so important, as you say, Rebecca. Having skilled professionals in the industry is essential. And I think that's what everybody's looking for, whether we're in LATAM or EMEA or in the Americas or in Asia Pac, having skilled professionals and everybody's looking for skilled professionals as well. So that is a global thing that unites us. And there's an eagerness to learn. You can feel that, you can sense that in the FM communities as well. But on top of everything, it indeed needs to be fun for people. This is such a beautiful profession that you can enter at any stage in your career and you can do it until the end of your career. But if you do that, sure hell, you need to have a good laugh once in a while. That's for sure.
Well, and it is great. And it is great that we have this World FM Day because of this impact you're saying. And that if we have these celebration moments, about what we are doing, it creates community. It is not just a professional stage. It is like a community. It is a way of living because FM doesn't work 8 to 5 or 40 hours a week or 48, even though we all know that every country, every continent has different labor rates or hours for the profession, but we work in every day, every time. We are like firefighters, right?
Oh, yeah.
So having
And hero.
Yes, exactly. So having the spaces to celebrate, to create community, it give us engaging and like the belonging that humans need to feel like entitled and satisfied.
I agree. I think that's super well said, Rebecca. I love the fact celebrations create communities. I think that's exactly what World FM Day is about. It's like celebrating our profession, celebrating the industry, this beautiful industry that we're working into. We have additional resources. You can have a visit at worldfmdayinfo.ifma.org. And we would love to hear what you're doing to celebrate. Do posts on social media and hashtag World Fem Day. Thank you for joining us today. And thanks, Rebecca and Ted.
Hey, bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. And as always, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for more incredible content.